All right, so I'm using the template that you can see in your Unit 3 resources that goes right from function rule to function graph. And I'm given a rule here, y equals 1/2 x plus 2, verbal model, 2 more than half our domain is equal to our range. So we can see that our function rule is multiplying our domain by 1/2 or dividing by 2, and then adding 2 to get our output. So we're going to not make a table. We're going to go straight from rule to graph by following these steps. So you can see in your flow chart, here's the first thing to do. Locate the starting point on the coordinate plane. To do that, we use the b value to identify the y-intercept. So as you remember, linear equations are written in the form y equals mx plus b. And I can see that my b value currently is 2 inside my equation. Therefore, I have to change it into a y-intercept. A y-intercept is an ordered pair where x is 0 and the y-coordinate is my b. This is also called figure 0. So figure 0 and our y-intercept are the same vocabulary words. So I have located the starting point of this line. So step 2 tells me go to the graph and identify that starting point. So that's a y-intercept. So I go 0 on the x, 2 on the y, and make my point. Step 3, go into here. Interpret the slope as a movement. So I'm going to look back up at my rule, and I can see that my slope is the coefficient of x. It's represented by the m value in my equation. Make sure my slope is in fraction form, and it is. My slope is 1/2. And I have to show that movement for the y compared to the x. So I know that my 1 is a positive 1, and my denominator is a positive 2, and slope is defined as the change in y compared to the change in x. So a positive 1 movement on the y-axis would imply up 1 unit, and my positive 2 on the x-axis would imply right 2 units. So now that I know the movement, I go back to my coordinate plane and I start moving. Up 1, right 2, and I make my point. Up 1, right 2, and I make my point. I follow this pattern all the way through the remaining coordinate plane that is given. I can see that staircase pattern, and I'm going to mimic that pattern in the reverse direction so that I can get as many points on the coordinate plane within that view. I'm going to take a straight edge, and my straight edge is not as large as I want it to be, but that's okay. So I'm going to slide to make that better. There you go. And I'm going to put my arrows at the end. So the last thing I'm going to do is in the upper right corner or the lower right corner, depending on your line, I'm going to label it with the rule that I got as my given. So here is the line that represents the rule y equals 1/2 x plus 2.